massive push has been undertaken to address infrastructure and logistics bottleneck. Capital investments. For a moment, let us see the numbers that we are talking about. Capital investment has increased from 1.7% of the GDP, and that was in 2013-14. Of the GDP, capital expenditure money was only 1.7% of our GDP. It is now in 24-25 reached 3.2% of our GDP, with effective capital expenditure being actually 4.1%. When I say effective, I mean not just the central government's expenses, but also state governments putting their capital expenditure money into it. So 4.1% of our GDP is now completely going into capital asset creations. Over the last 11 years, 88 airports have been operationalized. 31,000 kilometers of new rail tracks have been laid. Metro networks expanded over fourfold. And port capacities have also doubled. And the national highway network extended by 60%. So complementing all these efforts, the central government has also provided the state governments 50-year interest-free assistance so that they can have their capital assets increase money to spend on them. The center has given 50-year interest-free money to all states, and the total of what has been given is about 3.6 lakh crores up till now. That is the last 4 years. And 22 states have actually used it, resulting in recording more than 10% growth in capital expenditure from their own resources, from states' own resources. Now, the other is the Digital India Initiative, which has enhanced digital infrastructure and simplified e-governance, enabling faster and smoother operationalization of the GCC. Reforms such as the introduction of Spice Plus, simplified pro forma for incorporating company electronically plus, that is Spice Plus, and the establishment of the processing accelerated corporate exit, which we call as CPACE, are creating more innovation and business friendly environment. So that's my first pillar. The second pillar is education and skilling. They improve employability, industry ready capabilities are provided, and they are the key focus of our government. In July 24 budget, we particularly focused on this agenda and announced Prime Minister's package for 5 schemes and initiatives to facilitate employment, skilling and other opportunities. And that covered 4.1 crore youth all over the country over a 5-year period, with a central outlay of 2 lakh crores. So that's directly for skilling and working with various types of employment opportunities. Large-scale skilling initiatives, what have we done on that? PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana, under which 1.6 crore people have been trained already, and they are being aligned with the emerging industry needs. 200 plus new age skill centers are also started, new age courses are being also approved, and the National Council for Vocational Education and Training, and 29 new age courses have also been added into the craftsman training scheme in ITIs. Programs such as the PM internship scheme also provide opportunity for GCCs to tap into national talent pipeline. The CII together with other associations are also working with us on the PM internship program. The pilot stages are over. Further, initiatives such as Research, Development and Innovation Scheme, the RDI scheme, with a corpus of 1 lakh crore, encourages the private sector to scale up. That's available for all in private sector, to scale up research development and also innovation. That's why it's called RDI scheme. 1 lakh crore has been provided for this. It's for every one of us to tap it. Largely aims at sunrise domains and also strategic domains. The Pradhan Mantri Vikasit Bharat Rozgar Yojana is another one, which employment linked incentive scheme has been recently rolled out. And what it means is any young person receiving their first employment opportunity in a private company will be given 15,000 rupees from the central government. The central government also plans to invest nearly 1 lakh crore in this program to provide new jobs for new youngsters who are coming on. I'll move to the third and the final pillar, is that facilitative governance. Supportive regulatory measures such as ease of doing business, reforms that have been undertaken, simplified tax regulations, streamlined compliance norms for foreign entities, and also flexible labor laws have all been brought in, and a single window clearance mechanism have also been significantly reduced, have also reduced the cost and complexity of doing business. Reforms also have meant that liberalized FDI policies have come through. The removal of over 42,000 unnecessary compliances, 1,500 archaic laws which have been removed, and introduction of system-wide deregulation and landmark system-wide reforms such as the GST, about which a mention was made earlier, the reformed RERA Act and the IBC, which has kept up with the changing needs of industry. So also in taxation, we've given an expanded safe harbor rule for tax-related matters, and also improved transfer pricing assessment process and procedures, and they are further getting enhanced so that the competitiveness of India's tax regime for global businesses will be worked out. The next generation GST reforms announced recently also benefits the GCC and IT-enabled services by easing compliance, releasing working capital which otherwise gets locked up, and reducing disputes. According to NASSCOM, the reforms bolster India's tech industry export engine while reinforcing the momentum towards greater ease of doing business. Now, the cooperative federalism aspect, which will be influencing GCCs and setting up GCCs in Tier 1, Tier 2, thus far, GCCs predominantly clustered in big metros. That was mentioned even by the CIA when they spoke. However, with the ecosystem broadening and maturing beyond Tier 1 hubs, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities are emerging strategic destinations, a shift that is helping diversify economic activity. And that's where I think the emphasis on Visakhapatnam takes credit. State governments are playing a very critical role in deepening India's GCC advantage and shaping an enabling policy environment. So in order to maximize the impact, aligning national and state level policies about which we just spoke, and adapting policy instruments to ensure that each state builds on its own unique comparative advantage. That's what Andhra is striving to do, and that is where Andhra stands out as one of the first mover. So that the central strategies for GCC's growth translate into locally grounded ambitions, measurable targets, and also maximize growth potential. Building livability and infrastructure ecosystems that allow Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities to emerge as centers of excellence is one of the main things that can attract global talent, encourage corporate reinvestments, and host high-value innovation and service delivery.